from 3-man and now you're doing some more 4-man. Can you kind of just talk about the progression of how the fronts have looked so far?
I think they look really well. Coach Adams is doing a good job of, getting everybody prepared to, go play. And the way he teaches a 3-down, the way he teaches a 4-down, I think we can have a lot of success in both of them. And now we've been doing a little more 4-down stuff in camp, and it's been looking really good. Me personally, I've been loving it. I know the guys next to me have too. So yeah.
Chris, this is your first interview as a Razorback?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How's your experience been here so far, and from playing last year and now working with the first group?
My experience here has been very amazing. It was a hard-fought journey my first year. My first year I had to get adjusted to everything. I was a mid-year, so I had to adjust and become accustomed to, classes and workouts and things like that, and I had to fit into the culture. But guys like Isaiah Nichols, Grant Morgan at the time, Hayden Henry, and Bumper Pool, of course, they got me on the right track, and they just kept me there. And ever since then, I just been on the road.
Hard coming all the way from Georgia, right? Coming all the way from, does Arkansas feel like home yet?
Arkansas has felt like home since I committed here, so it wasn't a hard transition for me. I fell in love with the coaches as soon as they got here. I've been in love with Coach Pittman since he was at Georgia, so it wasn't hard for me. He made me feel at home there. He made me feel at home here, so it wasn't hard to come accustomed to moving up here.
Missed a lot of time, obviously, with I believe you bumped your head. How have you been back from that? I guess you just came back yesterday. You going to be able to go Saturday?
Yes, sir. I'll be in there Saturday. But to speak on that, while I was out, I was still getting mental reps. I was still going to my leaders like Isaiah and Bumper Pool and people like that. I was still on the field, still participating in things like that. So it wasn't anything major to me.
Isaiah, Tom was asking about the progress of the front. How about your progress? Where have you grown? Where are you seeing some developments in your individual game?
I've been really focusing on details. I've been working on my feet. I know the emphasis for today was making sure I'm gaining ground on my feet. And, the past couple of weeks I've been, making sure when we're taking, slant steps into the zone or, they're zoning to me that I'm not overstepping and getting out of my gap and I got to, get vertical. And, just being consistent with my hands, firing off the ball, being violent, block destruction, just the details and everything, just trying to fine-tune everything and just trying to be the most explosive player I can be.
For both of you, maybe Isaiah first, I know it's not a true spring game on Saturday, but there's going to be fans. What are your expectations are for that?
It's just another practice. I'm glad the fans are getting the opportunity to come see us. They haven't seen us since the Outback Bowl, and I think it's a good opportunity for the fans to see us and see what we do every day. But as far as my approach to it is, go about it with the same mentality as I do every day. Every day is game day. We go in there and practice. We're trying to get better, handle business, and get out.
Piggybacking off of what Isaiah said, like he said, every day is a game day. We take every day one step at a time, and the main thing about it is just get better every day. We take it 1% every day, and Coach Odom with the defense, he does an excellent job with setting the standard, and we go throughout with that standard. So, like he said once again, we do everything like a game day. We take it one step at a time, but most importantly, we are really excited to show the fans what we have been working on all spring and show them how hard we've been working and what a season they're going to be looking forward to.
And kind of, like Pooh was saying, we really do take it. I know a lot of people say take it like game day, but we really do take practice like game day. We'll get texts from Coach Odom. Coach Odom just as pumped as us to go. Like he's out there going to practice, and so he'll text us and make sure we come in the next day or get in our mind that night that the next day is game time. It's time to go and you practice how you play, and that's how we got to come out every day.
Chris, just how much did you learn playing behind Bumper, Grant, and Hayden last year? How much did you pick up some things from them, not just in the games, but in practice too?
Oh, yeah, man. Playing behind those guys was a true blessing for me. I was actually very happy that they came back that last year. Learning behind them, especially with Grant, sometimes I would go sit with Grant and I'll learn extra. Even Hayden, we'll take time after practice, we'll stay afterwards, and we'll just learn the scheme. He'll teach me the scheme, And in the beginning, as a freshman, as a mid-year, like Coach Odom said in the last interview, you're supposed to be getting ready for biology class. But I was, out here, I had to put my big boy pants on, so, he had to teach me the schemes, how the defensive line maneuver, how we maneuver, and DB. So playing behind those guys was a true blessing, especially Grant Morgan.
This is really made for linebackers to get some good stats. Set something. One of the things, I know that's not driving factor maybe? Is that one of the things that helped you choose Arkansas, is just the fact, the way the linebackers get to play in this defense, the freedom and stuff?
Yes, sir, that was one of the factors, but I would say the most important factor to me was family and my recruitment. So, like I said, I've been having a relationship with all these coaches since they was at different schools, and once they came to this, it was like God was just telling me, you know, this is a place I have to be, this is why I will thrive, and this is why I have been thriving since.
I'd say a few years ago, you were a newcomer, but you and Carter kind of the old hands in there now. How is Cam Ball coming along, and how much are you guys working with him some, and just how's he looking?
I personally think Cam Ball is going to be very good. You know, he's still young, and you see in this conference, like, most of the best guys in D-line are older. You know, you got some young guys that are good too. But I feel like once he gets older, he matures and he, you know, understands the game better and changes his body, I think he's going to be really good because he has the work ethic and he can take coaching. You know, he's not a selfish guy. So, you know, he gets out on the field, like he makes plays all the times and it's not a surprise. So I really think highly of Cam. I think he's going to come along just right, just fine.
Yeah, and Pooh, correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw a set today with you and Bumper at linebacker, and Sanders was kind of on the edge. Can you tell us about that formation, just kind of what the benefits are, maybe, of it?
So that formation is something new that we're working on with Coach Odom. You know, we're still getting adjusted to it, we're still getting accustomed to it, but, you know, as I said, we're going to take it one day at a time and get better at that scheme. So, yeah, so. What do you thought of Drew's
entrance into the linebacking core?
Drew has been a great exception to the linebacker core. He said he's learned a lot of things from me, but honestly and truly, I learned a lot of things from him as far as like pass rushing moves, how to maneuver fast, and how he moves around. So he has taught me a lot of things as well. So he's been a blessing to come to the linebacker core.
How did Pooh come about, man? Just different from the basketball player, or how did that come from?
So you asked about my nickname? Yeah, your nickname. Okay, so my parents, when they were younger, their nickname was Pooh, and of course my name is Chris Paul Jr., so I was the first boy out of 6 sisters. So my dad wanted me to be a junior, and, you know, a lot of people thought my nickname was going to be CJ, but it wasn't. So he gave me his nickname, and that's how it just came about. People just started calling me Pooh ever since my mom started screaming my name at Little League games.
Do you, when you're not being Pooh, do you prefer Chris or Christopher?
Honestly, I prefer Pooh. Okay.
All my questions just got used up all at once, but I was curious about the transfer portal. Isaiah, even since you've been here, it's changed so dramatically, so recently. How has that been, like, meshing with so many new guys, with, you know, McGlothern's coming in, and, you know, just on defense, along Breeny and Landon Jackson and Drew Sanders, all those guys. How do you guys, I mean, you got to welcome them in, bring them in part of the team, but it's different than freshmen because they're, you know, older guys.
Yeah, so I feel like it could be even easier, you know, to get along with an older guy that comes in, because especially one that's come from the SEC or, you know, a good solid team, because, you know, they're not coming here to lose, and, you know, they come here because they believe in the program, just like freshmen they come in here. So when we get in here, it's like we all on the same page, and we really have a family environment here. And so, like, when Breeny came in, and, you know, Nudie and other guys that come transfer in, it's like we click instantly, because, you know, we all here about we trying to win. So there's no room for, you know, trying to single a guy out or, you know, treating somebody different because they used to play for another schools. Like, if we're here and you're wearing red, we're a family.
Yeah, Isaiah, I'm just wondering if you could just kind of encapsulate what your journey at Arkansas has been like. I know football players are never satisfied with where they are, but are you pretty pleased with where you are, like, at this moment?
I mean, it's definitely been, you know, a crazy journey leading up until now. You know, I would say I'm proud in the sense that I'm getting better, but I think I have a lot more left. I mean, a lot more growing to do, and just like anybody, the best have a lot more growing to do too. So I try not to think too highly of what I've done, and try to focus more on what I can do and what I can do better. So, I mean, to answer your question, yes, I'm proud of where I've come from when I started 4 years ago, but, you know, my day-to-day focus is on what I can do to get better and how I can be better next practice or next game or the next day than I was the previous day.
Go ahead.
Isaiah, I'm curious what you've seen from Landon Jackson. I know he's been kind of dinged up and everything, but got to come back to practice this week a little bit. What have you seen from him?
I think from just seeing him come back, and I told him to, I said, he looks good. Like, the way he can move, and he's been going through bags, good feet, you know, and especially coming off an ACL injury and, you know, injuring his ankles and stuff, he moves good, and it looks like he's, you know, he's been doing footwork and hands drills, and he looks good. I think he's going to help us out a lot once he gets fully healthy.
You mentioned growing up with a bunch of sisters. What was that like, and does that maybe help with your maturation maybe at a younger age?
So growing up with a lot of sisters, you know, as you can imagine, was kind of crazy. But, you know, we all had that kind of bond, and they really and truly, other than my pops, taught me how to be a true man and sticking to my word and how far you can get with being honest and being mannerable and just playing out hard work. So growing up with them, man, you know, it really taught me a lot. You know, I had to grow up at a younger age. Like my dad always says, I always think 10 years ahead. You know, if you're 15, think like you're 25. You know, so, and my sisters, they helped imply that on me with, you know, just the small things. You know, sometimes kids, you know, they take for granted what they have. But for me, I took it as, you know, they're trying to help me. They're trying to help me to get out of the place that I come from. And they see something in me that I didn't see at the time. And, you know, so growing up then was a true blessing. And that's how I truly feel about my sister. I love them all.